The gathering was crowded and boisterous, a swirl of music, laughter, and people wearing masks of effortless happiness. I lingered near the fringe, holding a glass I hadn't touched, when I saw her. Elena was leaning into another man, her laugh soft and intimate, her head resting lightly on his shoulder as though it belonged there. The sight felt unreal, suspended in a way that made time pause. I didn't approach them. I didn't freeze. I simply observed, and in that moment, I realized this was not a mistake or an innocent lapse. It was choice, familiarity, and comfort. Something inside me went still. No anger rose. No impulsive need to act stirred. I turned and walked toward the exit without a word. No one stopped me. No one seemed to notice. At least, that's what I believed. Outside, the night air was heavier than the room I'd left behind. I stood a moment, listening to faint music drifting through the doors, then made my way to my car. I didn't check my phone or replay the image in my mind. I drove slowly, focused on the road, convincing myself that silence was a clean ending. At home, I sat alone in the dark, letting hours pass without questions or answers. What I didn't know was that my absence had already been noted. Back at the party, people began asking where I had gone. Someone mentioned seeing me leave alone. Another noticed the space I had once occupied. Elena's gaze drifted across the room, first casually, then with unease. Silence does not vanish simply because you leave. Often, it follows, growing louder behind you. Whispers replace laughter. She stepped away from the dance floor, scanning faces, pretending indifference. The man with her asked what was wrong. She laughed it off, saying I probably went home early, though her confidence faltered. Friends began sensing tension they hadn't before. One asked why I hadn't said goodbye. Another wondered if I was upset. The questions multiplied quietly, yet effectively. My quiet departure unsettled the room more than any confrontation could have. The memory of her in another man's embrace gained weight against my silence. Music continued, but conversations shifted. Smiles stiffened. She tried calling me. I didn't answer. That unanswered call shook her more than anger ever could. Without context, silence forces interpretation, and interpretation rarely favors those hiding behind laughter. By the time the evening ended, nothing felt festive. Groups left early, conversations were unfinished. Elena's laughter didn't return. She spent the night justifying and denying things nobody had accused her of directly. That alone was telling. The following morning, my phone lit up with messages from friends asking if I was all right. I replied calmly, simply stating I was fine. That quiet certainty confused them. They expected heartbreak or fury, not composure. Word spread that something had happened, though no one could explain precisely what. When Elena returned home, shaken and defensive, she asked why I left without speaking. I told her calmly that I didn't need to explain what I had seen. Slowly, realization dawned on her. My silence hadn't avoided conflict, it had revealed it. Now she faced consequences she had never imagined would arrive quietly. Over the next days, tension rippled through our social circle. Friends avoided taking sides, yet they could not ignore what had happened. Elena tried controlling the narrative, insisting nothing improper occurred. But silence undermines false stories. People remembered details they had brushed aside. The way she leaned in, the length of the dance, my quiet exit. I never had to justify myself. My absence said it all. She accused me of embarrassing her by leaving. I told her embarrassment comes from choices, not reactions. That answer unsettled her. I wasn't defending myself. I was done explaining. My withdrawal of reaction shifted everything. Without conflict, there was nothing to mediate, only truth in the space where celebration had been planned. Silence had realigned the balance, and no one could undo it. Weeks passed. Invitations stopped. Friends spoke carefully. The man from the party vanished from conversation. Elena became restless, aware of something irreversible. She asked if I planned to leave. I said I was considering what honesty demanded. That offered no comfort. I wasn't punishing her. I was protecting myself. My calm unsettled her more than anger ever could. She realized she couldn't argue with silence or bargain with distance. Life moved steadily for me. Work, routine, peace. Her world, by contrast, felt unsteady. People no longer asked me what had happened. They assumed. Silence invites interpretation, and interpretation rarely favors those hiding behind laughter. I learned that leaving quietly is not avoidance. Sometimes it is the clearest statement one can make. Eventually, she attempted to apologize, carefully choosing words. I listened once and told her that apologies cannot erase moments that reveal truth. The truth had already been witnessed. She asked why I hadn't confronted her publicly. I explained that confrontation gives opportunity for denial. Silence leaves nowhere to hide. That unsettled her profoundly. Friends later admitted that my exit reshaped their perception of the entire evening. Silence had demanded accountability, without accusation. I felt no triumph, only clarity. The marriage I believed in had ended the moment I chose to walk away quietly. Everything afterward was consequence, not choice. I stopped seeking closure, conversations, or explanations. Closure had arrived the instant I trusted my own eyes and prioritized dignity over spectacle. Silence did not break me. It rebuilt me, steadily and permanently, without witnesses, applause, or validation. That night redefined strength for me. Strength is not shouting, exposing, or demanding answers. Sometimes it is leaving quietly and allowing reality to follow on its own. My silent exit triggered events no one anticipated because it removed comfort, control, and denial all at once. The party faded from memory, but its consequences remained. I never announced my boundaries, I lived them. People remembered my absence more than any dance. I learned that intentional silence carries a weight unmatched by argument. It does not seek attention. It commands reflection. Walking away without a word was not surrender. It was alignment. Once aligned, I needed neither explanations, witnesses, nor approval. What followed was not chaos, but clarity arriving late for those who believed laughter could hide everything. For me, it was the beginning of lasting peace, earned quietly and held deliberately forever.